Language is not just a way to communicate. It's a tool that shapes identity, behavior, and reality itself. Most people believe words simply describe life, but words actually direct life. The phrases repeated daily do more than explain experience. They create it. Yes, they create it. We're molding our existence with every word that we speak. That's how powerful language is. One of the most powerful phrases anyone can speak is "I am." This is not just a motivational idea or a spiritual slogan. It's a statement of identity. When those two words are spoken, the mind, body, and nervous system respond as if a command has been issued. In scripture, when God is asked for a name, the response is not a title or personality trait. The answer is pure existence itself. I am that I am. This is not about ego. It's about creative authority. Existence speaking itself into form. Human beings are made with the same creative mechanism. Every time someone says "I am," they are choosing who they are being in that moment. The brain does not treat it as poetry. It treats it as instruction. The danger is that most people are unaware they are doing this. They believe they are being honest when they describe limitation, stress, or fear. In reality, they are locking those states into identity and calling it truth. When someone says, "I am broke," they are not describing a temporary situation. They're declaring an identity. The subconscious mind hears this as a role to maintain, not a condition to escape. Once that identity is accepted, the brain's filtering system begins working against the person. Opportunities that don't match the broke identity are ignored. Financial growth feels uncomfortable. Risk feels dangerous. Progress feels unnatural. The same thing happens with emotional states. Saying "I am anxious" turns a moment into a personality. The body responds immediately. Stress hormones increase. Breathing changes. Muscles tighten. Thoughts race. The body believes it has been given instructions. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between speaking and hearing. When someone speaks, they become their own authority figure. Their voice carries more weight than anyone else's because it is coming from within. This is why repetition matters. Every "I am" statement becomes root-level programming. It goes straight to the operating system of the mind. No debate, no filter, just acceptance. This is not theory, it's mechanism. The words spoken repeatedly become patterns. Patterns become habits. Habits become personality. Personality becomes destiny. Most people confuse programming with personality. They think, "This is just how I am," when in reality, it is how they have been speaking. This understanding is not missing from society by accident. If people truly understood how language shapes reality, they would be harder to control. You cannot keep someone powerless if they refuse to speak powerlessness into existence. You cannot keep poor people poor if they stop identifying as poor. You cannot keep people sick if they stop claiming illness as who they are. Identity is the gateway. So language was weakened. Powerless phrases were normalized. Limitation was framed as honesty. Victim language was rebranded as being real. People were taught to describe struggle endlessly, then defend it when challenged. That is how a spell works. When the person protects the very thing that limits them. Language bypasses logic. That is why advertising works. That is why political speeches are tested word by word. Repetition becomes belief, and belief drives behavior. From childhood, people are programmed with phrases like, life is hard, money doesn't grow on trees, and you have to struggle to succeed. These are not facts. These are instructions. Once accepted, they become internal laws. People repeat them to themselves. They teach them to their children. They build their entire lives around them. Before the mid-20th century, students were taught rhetoric, logic, and etymology. Language was studied not just for grammar, but for influence, structure, and power. Students learned how arguments were built, how meaning was shaped, how words framed reality. Language was treated as a force. After World War II, this changed. Linguistic awareness slowly disappeared from public education. The study of word origins, persuasion, and logic was removed. People were taught to express feelings instead of understanding structure. Communication replaced comprehension. Language became casual, emotional, and unexamined. This created generations who speak constantly but think very little about the words they use. Words became noise instead of tools. At the same time, elite education never abandoned linguistic mastery. Precision languages, rhetoric, and persuasion remained central. This divide was not accidental. When people do not understand language, they cannot defend themselves against it. Words carry history. Meaning exists beneath the surface. When people understand etymology, they begin to see how deeply language programs thought. Many modern terms carry implications that shape behavior without consent. Contracts, institutions, and systems are accepted without question because the words themselves are never examined. When language is treated as neutral, people stop questioning it. That is the deepest spell of all, the belief that spells do not exist. Meanwhile, communication is reduced to short messages, emojis, and reactions. Complex ideas are flattened. Thought becomes shallow. Attention becomes fragmented. This weakens the mind's ability to hold power. A person who cannot think deeply cannot speak deliberately. A person who cannot speak deliberately cannot shape their reality. Language becomes something that happens to people instead of something they use. And all the while, they continue speaking limitation into existence, believing they are simply telling the truth. Awareness changes everything. The moment someone becomes conscious of how they speak, they regain control over identity. I am does not need to be followed by struggle. It does not need to carry fear, lack, or limitation. These attachments are learned, not required. Changing language is not about lying or pretending. It's about refusing to claim temporary states as permanent identity. Words should describe direction, not prison. Identity should be chosen, not inherited through repetition. The most powerful shift anyone can make is listening to themselves speak and asking one simple question: is this who I want to be programming myself to become? Language is not harmless. It is not neutral. It is creative force in motion. And every sentence spoken is either reinforcing limitation or opening possibility. Which one do you choose? Write it down in the comments section. I hope you got something from this. I could never speak this enough, and I was always taught in growing up that words are powerful. I was always taught to visualize who I wanted to be and what my future was going to be. And everything that I visualized and kept that thought in my head and spoken to it, it always came true. Even when mishaps happened and life may have knocked me down temporarily, I never stopped speaking positive. I never stopped speaking in an empowering fashion. Your mind is very powerful. My mother and father always taught me this, that your destiny is there for you and you can choose it as long as the Creator signs off on it. It's very powerful. So we have to live deliberately and choose the words instead of accepting someone else's limitations. See, before I go, I wanted to say this. Be careful of who tries to speak limitations into your world, into your life. Because you'll have someone who may be a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, and as soon as they see you going in a certain direction, here they come, sometimes and oftentimes in a joking fashion. Oh, you know you could never do that. No, you take it serious. You look them dead in the eye and say, watch, it will happen. And they'll get offended. Because people who think in a limited way and see you going places or ascending, they want to bring you into their sad, sorry state of mental affairs. And I refuse that. I remember, and this was adolescence, I don't really hold anybody to it, but I was told when I was starting to do bodybuilding that I would never really get anywhere. That I was too small, I was too soft, I was too this and too that. And 4 or 5 years after those words were uttered, because I never believed them, I never absorbed them, I won a national title, right? As a teenager. And for those who think I'm lying, you can go to www.musclememory.com and put in LanceScurv in the athletes area. And it doesn't even have all the things that I've won, because I've been in dozens and dozens of competitions, but back then, it was hard to accumulate one person's record, and especially since I wasn't somebody famous or really big. But it's there because people write me and say, you never did that. You never. And I hate to have to defend myself, but go get your feelings hurt and see it for yourself. Anyway, there's so much more to our lives, and there's so much, may I say it, wasted time struggling with thoughts put on us, spells put on us. We can put a spell of positivity on ourselves and make it come true. Make it come true. And it doesn't always have to be hard. You don't have to work hard, you work smart. Yes, it may be a little more tense at some points than others. You have to have that stick-it-to-itiveness. Yes, you do. But the bottom line is that I look at it as a blank canvas, and I'm going to paint the most beautiful picture, the most progressive picture, the most positive picture on my life. And this is why many people that know me and have known me for a while, I don't hear from them anymore. I spoke this reality into existence. After getting here, there was a lot of opposition, but that is defeated. We sketched the design for this house, Mr. Scurv and I, customized it, made it the way I want, and I'm completely happy. It's not just about a house, it's about visualizing. I'm an artist, and that's what I do. So when it comes time to manifest things on different levels, I can do that just as easy. You have to have that confidence, and it doesn't come easy. See, my parents spoke positivity into my mind all my life, and I didn't have them as long as most people did. When my father passed away, I was 27 years old. When my mother passed away, I was 31. There's some people who still have their parents at 50 and 60 years old. I didn't have that luxury, but you know what? I guess that was God's plan, because they gave me an intense first few years of my life, and I well utilize it now, and I'm so thankful for that. So just go through your day and be aware of what is spoken to you. Just go through your day and refuse anything that a person tries to drop on you that's negative, and do it on the spot. Let them know that's not going to work. It's all about positivity. And what I'm speaking into my life and into my mind rejects all of that. It may not go exactly the way I want, but the end result, I'll make it there. I came this far. Nothing is going to stop me now. This is LanceScurv, LanceScurv Podcast. You know that I love you all, and I'm not going to tell you anything wrong. I live by these words. I live by these rules. And yes, there is so much more to my life and so much more for the time that I have left over, whatever the amount of time it is, right? I'm not even going to try to say. I know it's going to be a long way. And whatever it is, it's going to be intense. I have more creating to do. I was put here to create. Those who claim to be a child of God and don't create, they don't believe it. I don't have to say I'm a child of God. You can see by the fact that I am a junior creator compared to the ultimate creator, that is God himself. Much love to you all. LanceScurv out. On to the next one. I enjoyed you being here with me. Peace.